Hi, my name is Joanne Sanchez, and I am an herbalist who has partnered with the Southwest Institute of Healing Arts to bring the Western Herbalism program to this school. What you're about to see is a video of a class, advanced class herbalist students who are working together to match their theories and their strategies and the hands-on portion of working with the herbs. I hope you enjoyed the lesson. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, yeah. So we are doing our formulary lessons. We're continuing on from all of our strategies and theories, and we will incorporate those strategies and formulation ideas to be able to write good herbal prescription. And in order to do that, we're going to do this in a hands-on manner so that you're able to actually work and formulate with the herbs using your intellectual concepts matched with the dry plants themselves. So you see behind me we have a portion of our inventory from the apothecary out here. Okay, that's just a portion. So if when you are writing your formulation and some herb is calling to you, as it were, you would really like to use it, it would fit the bill of your concept of whatever system, body system that you're working towards supporting with herbs, then just ask, because we may have it in the inventory and we can pull it to the front for you to include. All right? We are going to spend time working together in our formulation, using our formulation strategies and the herbs, and we'll make a formula for all of us. So we will work together in community to develop one formula. Then you will take all of that step by step and do that on your own. And so the first thing to say about all of that is you have your handout that's called Apothecary Inventory. Those are the herbs that are up here. Okay, and you'll notice that they're in common names, but on the shelf here they are all alphabetical by Latin binomial. So keep them in that order because all of you are going to be working with them so that they go back. So you're going to have to translate English to Latin to be able to work the inventory sheets, which is good practice, right? Yes, good. All right, so that's the first thing that you want to consider is look at those herbs. And then what are we going to do with those dry botanicals? And you have an idea from looking at them what plant parts, right? Your next handout is called Formulary. So this is an exercise that you'll all be doing. And this exercise has to do with taking the herbs that we have here, like the alfalfa and the blue vervain and the horsetail, the calendula, the catnip, hyssop, lemon balm, licorice, linden, motherwort, and so forth. And you're going to categorize them into body systems that you already have a familiarity with, right? So the body systems that we have pulled the inventory, that's why there's so much more inventory in the back, is we've navigated and consolidated the inventory to represent just a few body systems so that we could get the strategies and the formulation across in terms of your understanding of that. So we have herbs in these categories that are for the digestive system, herbs for the nervous system, for the respiratory system that particularly allude to coughs, the female reproductive system, and those that are tasty. So what would we call that category if we were writing formal formulary prescription? Say it loud. Thank you, Natasha. Yes, corrigents, right? So the primary reason that the old eclectics used herbs in their prescription for flavoring was these corrigents, huh? So they used corrigents to what? What is the purpose of using corrigents in formulation? To correct, right? What kinds of things would we correct when we're combining herbs together? Bitterness. Temperatures, right. Heating and cooling elements of the herbs. What else? Thank you, Celeste and Heather. Taste. Yes. And that was their primary interest, the old doctors, is to always put in a corrigent herb that would add the compliance factor built in, so that patients would be able to take medicinal herbs, but enjoy that process so that they would be willing to be compliant for the time it took, the duration it takes for the healing process to occur. Okay? So, take your apothecary inventory, take your formulary sheet, and this is, if you'll see the directive on the instructions, it says take your 6 herbs minimum for each category. You may have more than one herb you may have one herb in more than one category. That's fine. But see how many herbs that you can take from the apothecary that you can put into these categories. And do that first. So then you already will have all of that in your backdrop for the rest of the afternoon. And it will take a time for you to be able to do that. So it's a good way to begin when you're learning herbs. It's a good way to continue when you're learning herbs as an advanced student, as you all are, is that you'll consider your herbs, any herbs that you're working with, and find your understanding and knowledge that you understand what body systems all of the herbs have an affinity to. So I'm going to help you out a little bit for the purposes of the folks that are listening at home. For instance, we would probably put, according to those breakdowns, we would put lemon balm, for instance, in the digestive system, because it's a mint that has aromatic oils, and the aromatic oils and lemon balm would delightfully help the digestive processes. But we could also put lemon balm in the nervine section, the nervous system nourishment herbs, which is what nervine means, by way of repetition, huh? Yeah, so we could put lemon balm in the nervines because we know that lemon balm is the herb for melancholy. And the terpene molecules, those molecules that are volatile, the aromatic qualities of the lemon balm, lightly, not for heavy-duty depression, but moderate imbalance, and that's why we say melancholy, it will raise the spirits. So we can put lemon balm or Melissa officinalis in 2 categories here of body systems, both the nervous system and the digestive system. And if you had fresh lemon balm, you could even put it in the tasty section, huh? Because it would have some of the aromatic oils are in the citrine arena of ingredients, and they would make a beautiful lemony, fresh taste to the tea. Now that would be diminished in the dry leaf, but it would be present in the fresh. So along with the other herbs that we gather from the garden, we could be picking some lemon balm. I just read, when I was preparing and teaching you the triune formula, when we were doing the more advanced systems of strategies for being able to make herbal prescriptions, that William Lasassiere, remember when I was reading to you about catnip and how catnip is a wonderful herb for the stomach when the energy is rising in the system and there's pain in the stomach and it relates to the nervous system. Catnip is a very good herb for that. That he mentioned below, and I didn't read it out to you because we needed to do what we were doing, but that slippery elm can also be used for the emotional aspect of why pain would be involved in the stomach. So unusual, huh? Is that the first time you've ever heard that? Yeah, slippery elm used for that. But this was one of the applications of slippery elm for William Lasassiere, an herbalist who lived from the late 1940s to the early 2000s. And it was one of the herbs that he included. And so again, we have this multiple complexity of the herbs, and that they are often useful for multiple body systems and can heal us in lots of different ways or support our healing process. Certainly we don't say cure, but we say support in our healing endeavors. So slippery elm could be put in this category as well. They could be interchangeably used if you had one and not the other. And we could also put the slippery elm in the nervine category, now that we know one application from a very respected herbalist. Because certainly we can go to the old herbalists of old who had botanical medicine as their primary therapeutic agents, who learned them thoroughly. We can go back to them. 75, 100, 125 years ago, study what they knew and learn from them. So too, in the mid-60s and 70s, when William Lasassiere practiced, we can look to him and say, okay, this is a person who is well respected. All of my teachers, he taught. All of the people that we know and respect in American herbalism, he was their teacher. And he says slippery elm can be beneficial in digestive disorders that have an emotional component. And so therefore, we can fill in slippery elm in 2 categories here. And so that's what you want to do. How are you doing? Are you getting them all filled in? We need a little bit more time? Calendula or something like that. So after you finish this exercise, what we're going to do is we're going to take and actually write a formula from the bulk herbs that we have of a specific individual with specific symptoms. And then we're going to mix them all. And we're going to come up with the herbs that we want to use, the proportions that we're going to include. We'll mix them in the bowl together, and then we'll divide it among all of us, so everyone gets to take home that blend that you've community blended. Alfalfa tea, nettles tea, oats tea. Or you could use it like this. You could do both parts of the oats. Cynthia says do the oats. All right? So then we'll have 1 part alfalfa. This will be easy when we get this formula going to make, which is fine. Easy's good, right? And then what do we do? One part. Maybe we should do it like this, 0.75 and 0.75, and put it into fractions. Are you all right with that? It's 0.5, 1, 0.5. All right, so you need to all write this down, because we're going to move over there. All right, and then I need to write it down to help you do the calculations. All right, so we'll get our formula ready, and then we'll have you all come and mix the herbs. And then holy basil is 1. You always go, when you write the formula, you go from the most to the least, right? But figuring it out, I like to go from the least to the most. And just like you would write a food label, right? Okay, and then what else? And then it was 1 alfalfa and 1 nettles. So really what you have, if you were going to name it, sometimes you'll see in the marketplace products named by the herbs. This would be an alfalfa nettles holy basil tea. So our first ingredient is horsetail. And we're going to begin with measuring out all the herbs. And so our first herb is horsetail. And Heather's going to come up and measure the horsetail for us. So what is the Latin binomial for horsetail? Someone help her out? Yeah. Like the horse, right? Equisetum. Arvens, good. Okay, so we're going to take our measuring cup and we're going to put 2 parts of horsetail into our blend to begin with. So we have sanitized our tables. Narcissa went around and sprayed everything. We washed our hands. And so now we're using our herbal plant materials to begin our recipe making. And we've formulated this so there'll be enough for everyone to fill a little tea sack and take it home. Wonderful. Yes. And the next herb we're going to put in is the leaves of the raspberry. So most of us know the fruit, but in herbal medicine we also use the leaves. And who's going to do that? Evie, great. What is the Latin binomial for raspberry? Rubus. There it is. And we need 2 parts of raspberry as well. So I'm going to ask you to keep it separate, because it'll make a nice effect for us to all see our herbs, and then we'll mix them together. So horsetail, raspberry. I love the raspberry leaves when I'm out picking both leaves and fruits of, the raspberry fruits, how they have that beautiful shiny underside, that's silver like that. 2. Very good. And next we're going to have lemon balm. And Heather's going to put the lemon balm in our blend. And what's its Latin binomial?
Melissa officinalis.
Yes. Good. All right. And 2 parts of that as well. So you heard me ask Evie to put it separate? Great. So lots of green here, huh? Green medicine. Green from the earth. Like Hildegard, veritas, huh? The greening. Life-giving. Next we have oat straw. Who would like to help with the oat straw? Okay, great, AJ. And what do we have for a Latin name for that? Avena sativa. And so that's at the beginning of the alphabet over here. And you're doing the straw first. Yeah. So oats is a grass, and we use the leaves of the grass. And you need to put 3 parts, please,
Yes, ma'am.
of our grass. So maybe you could put that right in the center, little hill in the middle. I'm looking forward to brewing it. Yeah. 3. Good, beautiful. It's like a straw color. And we also want to put the oat tops. So who would like to help with that? Tasha. So we use the oat tops as really, the straw is going to be nutritive, but the oat tops are going to nourish and feed the nervous system for a very calming effect. So we all could use some of that. So you need to do 3 parts of the oat tops as well. So we're really emphasizing the calming, nourishing aspect. And also good tasting. Yeah. It also is the moistening element of this blend, right? So all of that milky juice in the tops of the oats and the immature groats before it's actually ready to be an oatmeal is going to be very lubricating. And since we all live in a very dry climate here in the desert, this is very helpful. But in general, as women age, they want to have more lubrication, and men too. That's one of the things our bodies is less able to do on its own. And next we have holy basil. Ocimum sanctum. And Celeste is going to give us some holy basil to add. So it has a spicy flavor, but quite different than the... good. And so this holy basil we grew in the garden over at the Naturopathic College, and we brought it over to our apothecary here. And so you will need 4 parts. But you know what I would like to ask you to do? So you see the level of comminution, which is breaking herbs from large parts to smaller parts. You see the level of comminution here, except for this, huh? There's not really any way to get those growths to be smaller. Would you not agree that this is larger? So I'm going to ask, Narcissa, would you bring us a bowl, please? I'm going to ask Celeste to comminute it smaller, so that when you make a tea blend, you want to have your plant sizes about equal in their size, so that there's an equal amount of ability for the water to touch the plant materials, so that they come into solution, into the water, into your tea in an equal amount of activity. So maybe you could get, measure it out here and then break it down. Okay. All right? And then we're going to move on while Celeste is doing that and finish up our blend. All right? So we're going to do alfalfa. And Reina is going to help us with alfalfa. And what is your Latin name for that?
Medicago sativa.
Great. So it's up there somewhere. Good. And we need a 1/2 cup increment. Do you have one there? Oh, great. I'm sorry. Okay, so you need 4 parts, dear. And see if you can line it up over there. So more green. Yay. If I was going to make this blend for sale, and it was going to be visible either with a window in the package or somehow shining through some visibility, I would add something to change the color so that the green looks more green than it already is. We don't need that as herbalists because we know. But I would put in something red or orange that would meet suitable the delivery intention, but it would add that offset of color. So maybe some calendula flowers, maybe some rose hips or some hawthorn berries or something like that. because it's so green that the benefit of the green is not. It almost can be minimized by the visual. You did that already, huh? And lastly, we have nettles. You put 4, right, Raina?
Yeah.
4. Wonderful. Beautiful. Yeah.
Smell this? The holy basil.
You can smell it, huh? Yeah, so maybe walk around and have everybody smell it.
It's nice.
Yeah, and you want to measure it when you're done, not when you start. You want,
I'll do it again.
yeah, so we want 4 parts of comminuted holy basil. Because now, if it was 4 in the beginning, it'll be much less now. Yeah, is that okay with everyone? Do you see the difference of what it would be with whole leaves and making it 4 parts versus comminuting it down to the same size as everything else and then putting 4 parts of it? It's going to be much more. Now you want to think about the spiciness, the taste, of course, of that spiciness, and the action of the holy basil. Do you want that much holy basil energy? It's going to be like an adaptogenic tea. Is that good?
Yes.
Great. All right. And lastly, we have nettles.
Urtica dioica.
Yes, that's right. All right. 4 parts of that as well.
You want me to try to separate that?
Hello again. As best you can. Although some of them are getting buried, but... And this is just the way I like to make my herbal teas, instead of throwing them all on top of each other. And then I admire them for a little while. With gratitude. Do you have enough?
I don't think so.
Well, then use it all.
Okay.
All right? And then tell us what it is so we can alter our... You always want to document properly. So did you hear that? Celeste doesn't think we have enough.
Narcissa said you do have more in that.
All right. Well, then bring it on. But if you need to do that, so that's, that happens often. It's like when you have too much plant material to make an herbal tincture. You have to make multiple baths to be able to fit all those herbs in. So if we did not have enough, we use what we have, we measure that out. So that's 2 parts, though.
Yeah. I just
Good. I'm just making sure you're aware, because she doubled the size of her container, so that's important to know, right? Good. So if we did not have enough holy basil to make this tea blend, we would use what we had, we would measure it, and then we would change and document what we did. And if it came out perfect, then we would say, okay, we've made a new recipe. And now we have this recipe that we want to keep in our notebook so that if we're going to sell this blend or distribute this blend or use it for next year's New Year's Eve party or something like that, we have it to reproduce, just like any kitchen recipe. Okay? But if we didn't have enough and we altered our recipe and we found that indeed we would have liked more spicy, we'll leave the recipe as it is and remember on our documentation and remember that that's what we had to do. We enjoy it as it is and next time we add more. It's like running out of cheese for lasagna, you see. And you say, next time I want to put more cheese. But I think we'll have enough since Narcissa brought some more out from the apothecary. So yeah, so smell it. So it's really nice when we can bring in our own homegrown herbs into the blends. And I would say maybe 30% of our apothecary is what's come out of our gardens. So that's pretty cool. And you can do that too. And who wants to add the magical touch? Somebody? Come on. So have you all had a chance to see? Can you see? All of our beautiful herbs that we've added together there. All those beautiful green medicines for us. And as soon as you get the last of the holy basil, then you can start to mix them and blend them together. And that's where I like to poke fun and play with the idea of a witch's brew, huh? Or a witch's concoction, is this element of the invisible and the magic that Mother Earth brings to us and that we can bring into ourselves by drinking herb teas. All right, dear. Mix her up. Maybe you want to do this.
Okay, so
Yeah. There we are.
bottom raspberry sticks together.
Yes, it does. Good. And if you want to use the other implement, if that one isn't as good as you would like. So we've made a wonderful blend here that's going to be nutritive and delicious and calming, bone building, for all of us to take, and we're going to fill them into our sacks and take them home. Yeah. I can't wait to drink this, huh? So then you'll get your full cup, because that's what we made, right? And don't do heaping so that everybody gets some. And then just fill your little sack. You might, the labels are separate, so fill out your label and then add it to your thing. So when you come up, grab any embellishments you want for your packaging. Here, grab a label, grab a marker, and grab your sack and fill it up with a cup of herbs, all right? And hopefully we did good by doing that much. Maybe we could have done twice that, but too late. But you have the recipe. Oh, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. All right. What do you want to call it? Should I tell you some of the past ones? Or do you want to wait till you name yours? That's okay. That's one vote. What? You do not want to know?
No, I do.
You do want to know?
Yeah.
You want to know? Doesn't matter, huh? All right, so the 2014, here's my place where I can write our formula nice and neatly. Okay, so last year, 2013, they called it Oh Holy Bones. All right, in honor of the season, right? The year before that, it was a young man who named this one, Crouching Crone Hidden Passion. So they were into making her really juicy. And the year before that was Long Live the Juicy Queen. So you can see where their heads were at. And the year before that was Graceful Crow Tea. I like that. That's nice. Graceful Crow. And I think that's all I've got. Yeah. So. Is that helpful now that you know? What would you like to call it? But, you know, what? They were all creative, weren't they? Yeah. That's why I said I save them, because it's kind of fun.
La La Lady Bones.
Ah. Okay. Lady Bones. La La Lady Bones. That's perfect? Is that perfect? Anybody else?
I'm good with that.
Good? Okay. That was easy. Don't remember to put on your recipe, don't forget to remember, 1 part equals a half a cup. Because then it doesn't matter, right? Or make sure your parts are there, because you may not want to make this much. Chances are, right? All right, so, you know, maybe 1 or 2 at a time come up. Let's start from the back. And then fill your tea bags and take your embellishments and make your tea. And then we'll probably take a short break, okay? And then we'll come back and do the last part.